All right, we are back with Dominate Dominion number 102. We are going to be doing Explosive Dishwasher versus Williaf Gaming. Oops.
Williaf, known for the amount of time he had the Paradox Gaming series, and he runs a couple things on his side. He has a couple known Dominion players on his team, such as Monster SS4, Tempest DP, along with Madman.
Yeah, quite a few familiar names here. And I see Darkmaster around quite a bit. He's been a tournament goer for quite some time now. But his teammates have always varied and fluctuated. He's just trying to pick up some people and get that stable roster. And looking at our chatmans, we did have Wukong, Kha'Zix, Urgot, and Zyra banned out. All pretty standard bans. Urgot probably being a ban because he is just, one of those really, really difficult champs to deal with on Dominion. He has that mana aura to help give him that major boost. And looking at some of these in-game bans, we do have Jarvan and Pantheon banned out, as well as Lulu and Nidalee. And then a Malphite ban coming out. That's a pretty interesting ban. What do you think about that one?
I don't know who the Malphite ban would actually be targeted at, because that's the only real out-of-the-ordinary ban that we do see. And we don't see a lot of people really play Malphite these days. A lot of people think of him as an inferior champion with the likes of Amumu and Sejuani on the table who just offer more damage. But the Malphite ban might be there because, Blue team might want to run a very heavy AD comp and at attack speed store. It would be a significant issue for them. Well, debuff, rather.
Yeah, the attack speed debuff might be a major, major problem, especially if they decide to run an AD carry. So they might just be targeting banning the champion because they just don't want to deal with it right now. Let's see what they are going to pick. There is a champion still open that I'm not going to say just in case someone is watching the stream and that affects picks and bans. But something that was actually banned quite a bit last week after we saw the full power of it occurred in a game.
Well, we don't have to worry about champions like that. They can, get tucked under the table like certain Yoriks we don't ever want to see anymore.
Ah, yes, those Yoriks. And it looks like Purple Team immediately realized the champion that I was talking about. They're hovering over that Thresh right now, who is buffed. He does have the 4x soul on pickup, and his ultimate CD is a lot lower. A lot of people are screaming that he's overpowered right now, which I would say he might be slightly overtuned.
He's definitely overtuned. A couple of little tweaks in Riot, and he can be right in the place where he needs to be. And we do see an Annie lock in with, Tibbers being a very, very strong CC and just overall burst damage tool.
Ah, gotcha. And I am receiving confirmation that the Malphite ban is targeted at Williaf because his last 10 games are all Malphite. So.
Wow, what a trooper. Pulling out 10 games of Malphite.
I guess that's one way to pull target bans at you, is just to fill up your match history with a certain champion.
We do see Jayce and Anivia being locked in for Blue Team. Oh, I'm sorry, Anivia not actually locked in, but the Jayce most definitely is with this high poke and very high burst damage and the mobility he offers his team with Gate. He's a very, very solid pick.
Yeah, especially when you've got that good old Vi to sit in the front and disrupt the entire enemy team with the Vault Breaker. It's very, very nice to have. He's going to be able to sit back, he's going to be able to build that damage, and he's going to be able to poke with that W and Q. And looks like we might have a Ziggs lock in, possibly, maybe.
Do you see the timer ticking down? It looks like we are going to have another Ziggs. Ziggs gaining a tremendous amount of popularity in DD over the past couple weeks.
Yeah, he was almost non-existent. I know a few players like Wawix would play him occasionally, and all of a sudden now he's just being picked up a whole bunch. I'm wondering if it's because people have been playing him so much in SR that they're starting to bring him over and realizing his range and poke is really strong.
Back around the time of the first Low Pro, me and the Parkers were the only two Ziggs players, and since we've gone our separate ways and don't typically play too much of those range AP champions when we do play Dominion anymore, you don't really see Ziggs as he was a specialist pick, but now we see SR people picking him up. He saw a couple nerfs and he's still a very solid pick, and you see him a lot more often just because of the damage that he can bring and how safe he is when he does it.
Yeah, and it does look like we are going to have Nocturne and Heimerdinger, maybe?
Do we have a dinger donger?
Is the ding and donger real? Is chat about to raise the dongers? Chat, you now have my permission to raise the dongers. So that is going to be Monster on his Heimerdinger. He is actually a pretty good Heimerdinger player. I'm absolutely terrible at Heimer. Popples could attest to that. I played him earlier today, and we had quite a game. But
You do not want to see Fancy Wolf's Heimerdinger.
my Heimerdinger is very sad.
Heimerdinger is a champion, he's really, really subpar in the early levels of the game, but coming to the later levels, he has a lot of utility with his upgrade ability, being able to toss out, grenade, which is basically Sona Crescendo with a little bit longer range. He has his turret, which does an incredible amount of damage over the 8 to 10 seconds that it is alive, and he has rockets to be able to snipe people down or burst at a moment's notice.
Yeah, and then, and then we do have a Leona pick coming out to finish off this team. Or no, it looks like it might actually be a Maokai, but Kayle is being picked up by blue team. That is going to be really, really strong, especially with that Vi. She's going to be able to jump in, and then as soon as all those cooldowns start flying onto her, immediately get hit with that ult, keeping her safe in the initial fight. Or if someone gets jumped on, such as Jayce or Ziggs or herself, she's going to be able to ult them as soon as Nocturne or Annie or any kind of crazy amount of burst starts heading their way. So, looks like we are going to have the Maokai be locked in as the final pick. So we are most likely going to see the Heimerdinger bot.
Do you think the Dinger Donger is going to be bottom?
I think the Donger will be bottom. Because Monster is a bot lane player, so...
We do have a lot of AP for purple team.
This is true.
But I overall really, really like the blue team's composition. You're going to have Karma to offer shields to Vi. We have Jayce's move speed and Kayle's move speed, so the Vi is going to be able to really get in and connect to the target and do a lot of disruption, which Switch is going to need to do. And she's not really... There isn't really a follow-up to her initiate. She's just going to primarily be a distraction in order to have the Ziggs be able to stay in the backline really safe and deal all the damage that he wants to deal.
Yeah, she's probably going to have to go a little bit tankier this game, because she isn't going to be able to do that normal Glass, Brutalizer, Last Whisper build. She's going to be able to need to sit there and eat cooldowns for her team. So she doesn't want to jump in and immediately blow up on two abilities. She's going to need to get some bulk, possibly Giant's Belt, possibly Spirit Visage. And as our timer does get to that bottom point, we are able to unlock the Summoner blockers, so you guys can see these spells.
And we do see Kayle opting to take a Ghost and Karma opting to take a Garrison, something we do not see too often. Do you think the Karma is going to be going bot lane with that Garrison, or do you think she's going to be top lane?
That is very interesting, actually. She may be going bot lane, especially going against Heimer. She might be just trying to go down there and stall the lane. Karma is really good at just being that new, I'm going to sit here and we're not going to do anything lane. So bot lane is either going to be very exciting or will be very stalematey and boring. We'll see how it turns out.
What do you think the Kayle decided to take Ghost for? Do you think she's very, very scared of the Nocturne after he initiates on her? As most of the CC for purple team is not... It's just very hard CC. It seems like Cleanse would have been a better pickup for her.
Yeah, I mean, you got the Thresh hook, you have the Maokai snare, you've got the Annie stun... Nocturne does have his fear, and you can be running away while the fear is going off, or tethering to you. So, I don't know why she didn't decide to take Cleanse. Maybe she just wanted to use the Ghost for more offensive as well, because she can land her Q, and she can move in with the Reckoning a lot faster, too. But, it's a very
And we do
interesting
see a blue team opting for a lot of mobility. We have a Ghost, and we also have 3 flashes. Not very many combat summoners. Actually, not any combat aggressive summoners for blue team. All very, very defensive.
Yeah, they don't. No ignites, no exhausts. They didn't even bring along a clairvoyance to help out with their utility and get the vision on the map. So it's going to be very interesting because without that combat summoner, it's going to be a lot harder for them to duel at certain points in the game when those summoners are up for purple team. So we really have to see how they decide to use these flashes and if they're being used in a manner that pays off to not having the combat summoner.
Also, it's very, very important to note that blue team is, while they do have a Vi initiate with a Kayle, the premise of their comp really seems to rely heavily on the Jayce and the Ziggs for poke. And it's very, 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 very imperative that poke comps have good vision on the map, because if poke comps get hard initiated on, they absolutely fall apart, and when they get behind, they absolutely fall apart, very like their counterparts in Summoner's Rift. You always have to be active and getting your poke down before fights in order to be very, very effective. And purple team is a very stand-and-fight comp. They're going to beat you in a straight-up engage. And they also have the vision from the Maokai saplings and the vision from turrets and the vision denial from Nocturne ult to absolutely shut a poke comp down.
Yeah, and on the flip side of that too, when you are running that poke comp, you need to make sure that your frontline protectors aren't full-on engagers. Because if they're just going in right off the bat and you don't have that time to get your poke down, then you're essentially throwing your comp completely out of whack. So Vi needs to wait before she goes in until her team can get that poke and get that damage down, and then engage when she sees that perfect opportunity.
Now, on the flip side of that, having Vi and Kayle is a very, very terrifying duo if they were going to go roaming around the jungle, as Kayle ult and Vi and Kayle's significant burst damage is actually very terrifying to deal with, being able to leave Jayce+Ziggs on their own, maybe to siege top point. Now, if that's a strategy that they actually employ in this game, I would be very, very impressed, as I think it would be the most effective strategy that they would have against the composition that they are up against.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. Because, I mean, we've seen Annie Tibbers, the bear stuns, catch people out of position and just completely nuke down teams with ease. So I think it'll really come down to the positioning, who sees who first in the jungle. It'll be very, very interesting, especially since neither of these teams are bringing Clairvoyance along. It's going to be, oh man, I just suddenly ran into you, and we're going to fight here and see who wins this burst war. Alright, and as we get into round 3 here, I am one of your casters for today. My name is Fancy Wolf, and casting this game, which is going to be Explosive Dishwasher versus Williaf Gaming, with me today is going to be...
Retired Peoples. I'm here casting with Fancy Wolf, and this is a very awesome DominateDominion number 102, as we get started in the round of 3. We have Debonair Jayce showing up, we have Haunting Nocturne, which is a skin I don't often get to see.
Yeah, it's actually pretty rare. I wish I had the opportunity to pick it up when it was out. Unfortunately, I did not have RP at that time, but it's a very cool skin. The particles with it are pretty amazing.
Now, how was your day-to-day, Fancy Wolf?
How was my day today?
Yes, sir.
We sat in queue for probably like 3 hours this morning. So that was great, those Dominion queues when your MMR is through the roof and no one else is online. Had some very interesting games. I actually played Heimerdinger myself for the first time in probably a year, and I don't know what to do on Heimerdinger. It was a very interesting game.
It was a very interesting game indeed, as you did manage to somehow take top damage.
Yes, I threw down turrets, and I said, I don't know what I'm even doing. And then eventually everyone died, and I had top damage in the game. So, the Heimerdinger, go play him.
As a testament to how powerful the Donger is, raise your Dongers in chat if you believe that this Donger is going to be the top damage in this game, carrying from the bottom lane.
Don't let the mods keep you down. Raise those Dongers. Raise them up. Because I want to see some Heimerdinger Dongers up at the top of the damage charts at the end of this game. Please, Areno, no Bannerino mods.
Now, we do have a pause. What happened is blue team does have a DC.
Ah, okay. So, looks like Maokai is actually going to be going in with that Catalyst start. So...
And, Fancy, just remember to throw up the overlay just in case this pause does so happen to be over 3 minutes.
Yes, I will switch to that for you guys. And
now, for your information, if the pause does go over 3 minutes, you can see the items currently bought in the game, even though there aren't particularly anything too detrimental or that the opposing team could learn, it is standard protocol by the tournament admins that we, throw up that overlay for the time being.
All right.
And we have Stormfallen saying that don't play too much Nidalee. She's extremely broken and forms bad habits. I don't know. I don't think Nidalee's as broken as she used to be. I think she's a fairly balanced champion with a lot of kit overload, as champions with transformations generally have, Jayce, Elise, Nidalee, and to an extent Lulu with her abilities doing different things for ally cast and enemy cast. They all have a lot of things that they can do.
Yeah, I used to get pretty mad at Nidalee, seeing her in queue, people playing her, but unless it's like some really, really top tier guys, like if I run into Sifu's Nidalee, that's a little disappointing, because it's like, okay, I'm gonna get completely destroyed. But really, other Nidalees haven't been scaring me as often lately. Alright, and we are actually getting back into the game here.
Oh, rest in peace, the overlay. The game has begun. We see standard prospector stats for most of the champions in this game. Vi, knowing that she needs to play a little bit defensive, opting to get a Kindle Gem and a Ruby Crystal, and Kayle opting for full-on damage with a Sheen.
Ooh, that Sheen start. She is, she's going balls to wall. Like, she's saying, you know what, I'm just going to do the damage and not be afraid. I got my Vi to sit in the front. I'm going to sit back and blow things up like I need to.
We do see Nocturne off for a blade. He's going to a champion that, in the early levels is also really, really bad, like Heimerdinger. They really need levels to get going. Nocturne's very, very, very squishy at level 3, and primarily before level 7, before base stats start kicking in, and his first 2 items. So we're going to see if he manages to actually fight on the same field as Maokai in the front lines, or if he's going to play a little bit back, more like an assassin, and come in after the first round of cooldowns are used.
Yeah, if Nocturne's building full glass, he does do better with that assassin-esque build. The Ghostblade, the Last Whisper, he kills things incredibly fast because his crits will hit like a truck. But until he gets to that point where he can blow things up really easily, he's very squishy. He's not like Zinshao or Jarvan or Vi that have innate defensive mechanics. All he has is that spell shield and the fear. So we'll see how he fares in the upcoming fights here.
Jayce opting against getting a mana pot. He has just a health pot to his name.
Ooh, that Thresh hook just barely catching Vi there.
We do see a little bit of poke going down up into the top. I do believe blue team has a significant advantage with that, but Williaf is just waiting with his stun charged on Annie, opting to level Disintegrate first, which is the Q instead of the W.
Well, he will have that ranged stun, which will hit pretty hard, and down in bot lane, the Ding and Donger actually goes down. So he is going to be popping revive. That will be down for there, but still trying to watch this. Oh, the hook lands on Jayce.
Jayce going to get immediately blown up. Vi going into the back on Annie, but it looks like the Maokai is going to be the secondary focus for blue team. Vi opting to flash over the wall, but that does not get her away. Maokai taking up all that damage and retreating to the back to cap the point along with Williaf. Another hook lands by TimpaCP, who is on a roll, and the Fear Tether is going to go off, but is the Nocturne going to have enough follow-up damage? No, he whiffs his Q, and that seems like it will be the end. Williaf getting a stun on the Kayle, and a very, very nice play from TimpaCP. Gonna peel the Vi off of his Annie. Maokai decided to go in. Another Thresh hook is gonna land, and the Nocturne's Q is gonna pick up the kill on the back of that. And 3 nice hooks and a decisive victory for purple team in the top fight.
Very nicely done. They didn't drop a single person that entire fight. They did a great job of switching out. If someone got low, move them out, move someone else into the front lines. That was a great, great job by Williaf, looking incredibly coordinated there. And Ding and Donger actually holding onto his bot lane now. I think he got a little surprised by the Ziggs damage at first, but he's just chilling back, letting his turrets do the pushing.
We do see the Thresh currently on 20 souls from the 4 kills that he managed to get pick up the souls from in that fight, but he's not really next to the minion wave and collecting the souls that are dropping there. So we'll see how the game progresses and how his soul count goes up as another hook lands in the Maokai, and the Thresh are going to deal good damage on the Vi while the Nocturne's trying to hold the turret by himself against 3.
Yeah, that is still a full HP Vi, so she's pretty bulky, and I think this turret is going to go down, but the Tibbers gets dropped. Karma is going to get completely nuked. The box goes down, slowing down the Kayle. They are going to keep chasing onto the Vi, and the Flay comes out to cancel the Q. Very nicely done. She is going to be going down, and Williaf Gaming looking so incredibly strong in these fights. Their movement and coordination is just on point right now.
We do see Monster SS4 going low in the bottom lane, and he is going to go down to the Mega Inferno Bomb, hitting the sweet spot. This Ziggs just really getting the best of him in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Ziggs is just really difficult to deal with, and Ziggs, I was actually reading up and talking to some higher-up players, Ziggs is a really good pick against Heimerdinger. He can sit back, he can throw the bombs, very easily blow up targets, or the turrets, and, you know, it's really hard for Heimerdinger to get in on him. He can just kind of stalemate and stand around a lot with him.
We do see Vale was in purple size jungle by himself, but now he is regrouping with his team. The Lantern thrown out to give a little bit of vision, and the Nocturne is just going to re-push the wave up for purple team if they want to go take a jungle fight.
Very good mechanics there by Tempest, using the Lantern to face check instead of walking up. Ooh, Nocturne looking a little out of position, but I think they should be okay with this fight. Backline is sitting in the back, trying to get the damage out there. Vi is going to get nuked down. She did not have the health. Jayce getting the shield from Kayle, trying to stay alive. They are going to be able to take down the Maokai, but are they going to be able to get out all the way? The Thresh play keeping Jayce back into the fight, and they are going to go down as well. And that is going to be a 2-for-1 in favor of Williaf.
Explosive Dishwasher going to get their first kill on the board for their top team, managing to bring down Madman. Madman opting to save his revive as they push up on the quest. Williaf trading with Mr. Make It Rain, and Mr. Make It Rain is going to go down. Jayce going to go in the melee form, trying to DPS Annie down, and we see the Jayce's one more time. Oh, he's actually going to flash and get the kill with the damage on his W. Switch back in the range form. Vile can come down the Nocturne, and he is also going to go down. Double kill for Vale.
Very nicely done there. The double kill coming out. They are going to be able to pressure onto this now. Nocturne does actually have revive, as did Annie. Oh, man. So they are going to be able to pop revive and get back up here. And I don't think Dishwasher is going to be able to push on this top point just yet.
We do see them setting up for a brush gank, but Jayce is spooking them, making them hop out of the brush real quick. Vi is going to get a fully charged Volt Breaker on Annie. Thresh hook lands one more time, and the Vi, realizing how bad of a situation she was in, is going to go down.
Yeah, those Thresh hooks are really, like, winning this game here. And another one coming out. The Kayle is locked down. The box is put up. Kayle is definitely probably going to be going down from this. Jayce does have the Ignite. He pops his barrier, or is that Karma Shield, trying to keep him up. And it looks like they are going to be able to take this quest very convincingly. Jayce and Karma need to back off so they don't also die. Mega Inferno Bomb coming up top. Annie getting executed by the minions there. Minions are just too strong right now.
But will Williaf Gaming be able to get this quest? Death Sentence lands. Nocturne ult is being used on the back line just to try to scare them off while they focus down the Vi, but the Vi has a Spear of versus he is not going to fall. Nocturne, and it seems like this fight is going to get turned on its head. Nocturne and Thresh both going to go down, and double kill for the Vi as they finish cleaning that up. 0 for 3.
Excellent job there. Thresh and Annie are the only two ones left on Williaf with their revives. They used it. Actually, Maokai actually still does too. Wow! They just still have those revives. Such great timing. They might actually be able to keep this top point still. So they are going to be using Thresh up there, trying to tank it. It's 3v1 though. I don't know how long he's going to be able to hold this out. But Annie is up here. And the Tibbers is going down.
Jayce is going to go in trying to burst down the Thresh, but the Thresh seems like he might be able to get away with the juke. Meanwhile, Annie and Maokai trying to get the Vi, who decides to flash over the wall. The Thresh does get picked up on the back of the engagement as we see Nocturne try to chase him down, and Maokai chasing down the Kayle. He is going to get the twisted advance. Williaf is going to get the stun, and the Kayle is going to fall.
And Jayce is just going to go B as fast as he can. Nocturne going to be picking up that Storm Relic in bot lane. Heimerdinger, I think, learned that it's not wise to try to push into Ziggs, so he's just throwing down his turrets and trying to push him back.
Heimerdinger opting to go for Spirit Visage and Ionian boots into a Fiendish Codex, overloading on CDR and some magic resist as we see Nocturne come down for the gank on the Ziggs. Ziggs finding himself in a very interesting predicament. Fear Tether is going to go down, and it looks like it's going to be a very easy kill pickup.
Yep, and down goes the Ziggs. He does have revive. He just used it, so he will be able to come back down and defend this, but nice play by Nocturne, grabbing that shield, getting down there to take it. to take his revive down. So he can come back down in a little bit, gank again. Ziggs won't have revive, and they'll be able to get that bot point. But back in top lane, they're going to be pushing onto this windmill. Or not.
Meanwhile, bot lane, Heimerdinger is going to go down. He did get assault and batteried, and the Dinger Donger was no more. Nocturne playing a little defensively in the bottom lane. As we see the dive finally going to come on the top lane. Man running out of mana. But the Tibbers is going to be thrown down, hits one person. The Jayce is still just wailing on this Thresh. The Thresh is auto-attacking back. He is going to get the shutdown. Williaf opting to fight the 1v2, scaring off the Karma and the Kayle in the meantime. But we see the reinforcements are coming up for Explosive Dishwasher in the form of Dockmaster 743, and they might be able to finally get this quest.
It is a 3v2 right now, and Annie's going to be taking a lot of damage and will go down. Only thing left up here is the Maokai. Nocturne is coming. He does not have Paranoia yet, so he's not going to be able to ult up into this fight, and that Maokai is going to be going down. And now Nocturne's Paranoia is up, though. It literally just came off cooldown. Is he going to use it is the question, and it seems like he is not. He's going to save it for another time.
Explosive Dishwasher managing to get Windmill for the first time in this game. Let's see if they can manage to hold the jungle control and see how long they manage to hold on to the minor lead that they've managed to get.
Yeah, they do have the 3 cap right now. Let's see if they can hang on to it. Nocturne spell shield being down. Thresh looking for a hook, looking for some form of engage right now, trying to get something going.
We see this Thresh not spending a lot of time in the minion wave. He's only at 80 souls, which is 20 souls behind, which you should be. Your souls should be pretty much even with the minute in the game.
Yep.
But we do see them pressing in. Twisted Advance is going to land on the Killer Kid, and he's going to come over with a little bit of damage, and that seems like it's going to be a very easy pickup unless Karma's going to manage to escape. No, she does not.
Karma is going to sleep. Night, night, sweet dreams. And looks like Maokai just going to go as ham as possible onto this Jayce, blowing him up. Tibbers coming down, Box coming out. The Kayle going down will keep him up, but Kayle not shielding herself will go down, and that is going to be a 4v2 dive in favor of Williaf. They are going to be able to get this windmill back.
Double kill for the Nocturne. Ziggs, for whatever reason, not currently on this point. Dinger Donger's going to be able to pull it low. Satchel charges himself into melee range of the Dinger Donger, who drops down his turret. Donger pretty much out of mana, no real options against his Vi, and it seems like the Assault and Battery is going to be used to bring him down.
Donger is going to go down, but that is 2 people bot right now, and Williaf can pressure top. They are looking for that catch there. Oh, the Thresh hook was just a little off point that time. But they are, again, going to catch the Karma out of position, be able to take her down. But is Thresh going to be sacrificed for it? It seems so.
Karma with the Mantra Soul Flare getting a 4-man damage down, making sure that they could get at least 1 return kill onto Williaf in that engagement.
Oh, another dive coming down on the Ding and Donger here, but the turrets! The turrets! Look out, Ziggs! Oh, so close. Almost took him down there, and they might actually be able to get that bot lane point neutralized. Nocturne coming down, probably going to try to do some backcap shenanigans on the enemy's bot lane.
Now that Ziggs did manage to stay alive in base, he might be able to get there before the Nocturne finishes the cap. However, it was already low, and the Ziggs did not immediately walk out of the base.
Yeah, he will be able to get that neutralized, but Nocturne is very low. I don't think he wants to stick around to try and fight this Ziggs. Oof, yeah, he's definitely going to be going home. And Vi going to be trying to hold this point here, 1v2. And Tibbers just coming right down onto her. And let's see if they got the damage output to kill this Vi. Should be no problem. And back up top, they do manage to get Windmill. So very nice job for Explosive. They have the 4 cap right now, about to be 3 cap.
Explosive Dishwasher finally starting to get a little bit of money into their pockets. It comes around to the 13 minutes into this game. Their builds are finally starting to get the few things that they need in order to be effective in these team fights, and they slowly been going a little bit more into their favor when they're not immediately caught out of the jungle.
Yeah, and then the later this game goes, the stronger that Kayle is going to get. Once she starts hitting those late game items, she is going to be blowing things up. Oh, and Nocturne capping the point while everyone else is waiting in the wings. The Thresh hook does miss, but everyone else is ready to go and engage on this fight, and that poor Karma is going to get nuked down. The box is coming down to prevent anyone else from intruding or having Vi escape, and she is going to go down as well.
The Karma is going to opt to pop her revive. Meanwhile, the Jayce is going to try to 1v1 Williaf, assaulting the drill. A fight over here still going on, however, at the factory, and the Nocturne is going to ult and turn onto the Karma on the point, and the 3v1 tower dive is still going on. Make It Rain doing his best to try to bring down Tempa CP and MFG next, but it doesn't seem like he's going to be able to get a kill.
As he does it, he was able to finish it off. Oh, Ziggs bomb polishing off the Donger there in the bot lane. Donger just putting a lot of pressure and making sure Ziggs can't run up here and help his team. And it looks like Nocturne is going to go down. Jayce came over to the midpoint to help. And Maokai doing some work, managing to take down that Kayle. He is a tree on a point, something you do not want to mess with.
The last turret shot is going to come in and pick up the Vi. We see Ziggs capping the bottom point right now for Explosive Dishwasher, so they will end up with a 3 cap as the Monster Soul Flare does take the tree down, hiding on top of the point.
Man, oh man, that Maokai, he has got that tree. For those of you who don't know, if you want to be a tree on a point and sit there and say, I'm a tree. That is how you play the Maokai.
We have Dinger Donger doing some absolute crazy things in this bottom lane, going away the Ziggs off of the point for his Thresh to be able to cap it.
Yeah,
Meanwhile, top lane we see Volt Breaker over the wall coming onto the Nocturne, the Vi being very brave trying to fight the Nocturne when she has no Ira items, but she has her team behind her, so the Nocturne does manage to back off.
I think he's just waiting to throw that Dustbringer and interrupt the cap. He will be able to get it off, so very nicely done. That will stall for a little bit more time to help his team get back up here. And there,
Ziggs using Mega Inferno Bomb to chunk the Donger off his point, but the Donger does get the neutral.
Oh, and they're looking for an engagement here. The jungle pressure is real from Williaf Gaming, but also in bot lane that fight is going on too.
Oh, the BFT is going to go down. The turret is going to be dropped from Monster SS4. The big turret's laser barely missing. Turret being dropped over the wall. However, Shadowblade in a very, very interesting predicament as the grenade does come over top of his head, and he does manage to pick off the Ziggs.
So he does finish off Ziggs, which means Explosive Dishwasher is going to need to retaliate to this, and Jayce face checking the bush into a bear. The bear came out of the woods today, and he found Jayce, completely taking him down there.
And Jayce did blow Revive to manage to pressure the Nocturne off of his point, who is solo capping. Donger and the Vi fighting in the bottom lane. Salt and Battery is going to be used, so Donger does go down. And we see Kayle being brought down in the top lane as 4 people charge onto the Karma on the point. She is going to be taken down.
Yeah, so they are very convincingly going to be able to get this windmill here. Very nice plays. They had good separation, good picks, excellent timing on those plays. And Jayce was opting to go for mid, but then decided against it because Maokai was in the jungle waiting for him.
3 giant spells coming out for Explosive Dishwasher. They're feeling like they need to be bulky in order to be able to fight this. Very, very strong comp coming out from Williaf Gaming.
Yeah, they're really trying to stop a lot of the burst because that Thresh on hit, that Nocturne initial, auto attack damage, as well as Annie with her Tibbers, they're just trying to get a little bit bulkier so they don't blow up and are complete glass. So, pretty good option for them to be picking up here. Let's see.
It's just the engage threat from Williaf Gaming that is just bullying them around by just moving forward, and we see the poke is not really being super effective if Madman goes for an engage and Darkmaster is punching Williaf on the side. The tree standing in his ultimate is going to get actually pocket for some damage, and I'm surprised he still managed to be alive. Vi and both tanks end up going down. Thrashlook lands from across the wall. He's going to opt to go on to the Karma. The Kayle and the Jayce seem to be abandoning their teammate here, and we have Ziggs coming up to offer a Mega Inferno Bomb from the bottom. It's going to chunk out Tempest EP, who is going to blow the exhaust on Veil, but he is going to manage to go down, and surprisingly enough, Explosive Dishwasher is going to get the better end of that fight.
Yeah, they put a lot of effort into killing that Maokai while he was still in his ultimate. You saw there, it took so long to kill him, and Donger actually going in on Ziggs. He might be able to get this kill. It looks like so close. But yeah, they focused so much onto the Maokai, and then when the team fight kept going, they just kind of, they got their positioning. They're like, okay, Maokai's down, let's finish off the rest of them.
Now we do see Assault and Battery being used up in the bushes, and Williaf is going to get caught out. His entire team was not yet behind him. And we do see Explosive Dishwasher going to pressure top lane. However, we have Karma and Vi fighting Nocturne and Maokai. Nocturne is just queuing into the Vi. Nocturne decides to switch charge to Karma. However, he is very, very squishy, and he might go down, but we see the play coming in, the shutdown from the Kayle. Williaf back up at top. He is going to end up missing his W with Darkmaster juking it out. Karma is going to go down to Thresh and Maokai, and Vi is going to get Tibbers dropped on top of her head.
So Williaf Gaming does manage to win that top team fight. The minions are actually going to neutralize the point there, so that will save a few more seconds here for Explosive Dishwasher. Let's see if they can pull it back here. They
Since
do
the
have
top
some
points
time.
is capped, there is going to be 47 seconds left on the clock. That's enough time for about 2 plays as we see the jungle fight going to go off. Williaf getting a little bit of caught. The box is going down. Fear onto the Kayle, who ulted herself. We see Jayce is going to be the first to fall. Kayle is trying to sprint out, but she's going to run into the Maokai sapling. But she's barely going to be able to live and get the health as the fight continues. You know, Thresh landing another hook on the Vi. Darkmaster seems to like he's going to go down. Make it rain might be the next one. The hook barely misses, but this is not looking good. Ziggs looking for the back cap on the bottom point. And we see that Williaf Gaming is pinging the mid, with Karma being the sole person there to defend it. Madman opting to do the same thing and back cap bottom lane, so we have a double neutral, and the points are currently even, however.
It is 2-2 right now, and we will see if they are going to be able to pull anything out from this. Maokai just tingoing with Jayce a little bit, Nocturne trying to deal with the 3 people coming up for Windmill, while Donger and Annie are trying to deal with that Ziggs down there.
Nocturne ult being popped, just trying to scare them off the point for a little bit as we see the Ziggs finally trying to... He's going to have to 1v1 this Donger, and we did see Maokai manage to 1v1 the Jayce. Donger dropping a turret right on top of the Ziggs face. There's nothing the Ziggs can do. He is just going to go down as we see the tower dive. The Thresh still alive, finally going to manage to go down, so the top point will be going over to Explosive Dishwasher.
And they will be able to take it back here, but their bot lane point is getting taken and held. The Heimerdinger Donger is not letting him have it back, and the tree actually did manage to get neutralized on mid as well. I think that is going to be GG. They have 8 seconds left and are 3.5 capped.
GG, well played, did go out. Will the Maokai manage to stay alive? No, he is not, but the revenge skill coming out from the Dinger Donger, who has his turret set up at the end game screen.
Dinger Donger. Let's see if he was our Lord and Savior with that damage.
Williaf Gaming managed to take a victory in 20 minutes and 40 seconds.
Pretty convincing game. Very nicely done. Good positioning around the map. Let's get to our post-game lobby here so we can show you guys our damage dealt to champions. It looks like it is going to be Nocturne sitting at the top. And then followed by him, we do have the Jayce. He was able to sit back, get out some good shock blasts. Lots of AoE from that hammer strike as well. And then followed by him would be the Maokai and Annie, having tons of damage as Maokai. Super heavy bases as that super AP tank. And then Annie, of course, always has that great nuking power.
Now, if you had to name an MVP for that game, what would you name the MVP, Fancy Wolf?
Oh, man, there was... That would be tough. There was so many good plays from both sides. Like some of the comeback engagements that, I'd have to say that one team fight by Explosive Dishwasher, I'm going to give them just in general the MVP, because I was watching that fight going, oh man, what are you guys doing? You're focusing down this Maokai. He's sitting in his ultimate. You're blowing all these cooldowns on him. And they managed to take him down and then completely turn around the team fight that looked like they had lost. So I definitely got to give it to them on that one. That was very, very impressive play right there. Like comeback fights that you think they have lost are always great. But yeah, well, let's see here for our brackets. It looks like we are heading into the semifinals. And we may be casting Clueless versus Goon Squad or Benchwarmers versus Williaf. I'm assuming we're probably going to do Clueless and Goon Squad. So, and Hipeoples...
Now, remind me who's actually on Goon Squad this week.
Let me actually check the roster here, because we do have rosters switching up quite a bit for Goon Squad. Their roster is not here, actually. I think there might have been a problem with Mobifier, and they contacted an admin and got signed up. Normally, Goon Squad involves players such as Practice Yellow and some other cool stuff. Apparently, there is no roster. It's just people jump in. But, alright, we're going to cut to a quick commercial break, and we will be back. And we will get into our semifinal match for you guys.